Hello, welcome back to today's American Flyer Trains for this session, which will be the Railhead test of a 3745 pair, the Texas and Pacific GP-7 AA pair, one motor, Type 2 according to Doyle from 1955, and typed as a Type 2 because these trains have die-cast frames. Operating headlights and illuminated number boards, both on the power unit and the dummy A unit, and the side frames are painted black. What I have presently on the Railhead is my power unit, number 375. I wanted to operate it first. I won't operate it in the video, but I did operate it first because I wanted to compare its performance against the performance of an owner's power Texas and Pacific unit, just to kind of further validate and demonstrate the value of a complete rebuild. Now, I get the value and the return of maintenance and of periodic lubrication, for example, and even repairs. But I still believe that a thorough, complete, stripped down, completely disassembled, thoroughly cleaned, polished, and lubricated and put back together to American Flyer factory standards is the way to go with these 50, 60, and 70-year-old trains that have had nothing done to them. Just for a starting point, I operated mine on the Railhead at varying speeds, including creep speed, a scale speed, a moderate or medium speed, and then a speed which was way too fast. We're going to be using today, or in this video, the power will be an 18B 175 watt transformer. I set mine at different speeds. The fastest that I attempted was at the 60 miles per hour setting on the transformer. Now that roughly equates to 50% power, but we all know that on these transformers it could be more. When I set my locomotive, the individual one that you see here, at 60 miles an hour, it left the track in a curve. It could not negotiate the curve. It was going too fast. I fully expected it to do that, and I kind of expect this other one, but it demonstrates the power and the tractive force and the RPMs that these motors can generate when they're disassembled, polished and cleaned properly, and then reassembled to factory standards, not the least of which, of course, is things like replacing the pull-more wheels. Here is the owner's GP-7, identical to mine. It's the number 375. Its care must have been exquisite during its lifetime. I think it stayed in the same family during that time. Even the decals are not chipped. So I had a good starting point. But nevertheless, it showed some of the characteristics of any train that has not been rebuilt, such as the excessive amounts of oil and grease, excessive amounts of carbon dust, maybe even some spot rusting, and even a slide contact that was pinched and not operating. So once again, what I consider to be a complete and thorough disassembly is wash, clean, polish everything, including the bearings and bushings. A complete reverse unit rebuild, which includes removing the fingers and removing the drum. The drum was in pretty sad condition on this particular piece because it was coated in a little bit of lubrication, but a lot of carbon burn. The fingers did not have to be replaced. They were acceptable. I paid a great deal of attention to the adjustment to the thrust plates, and you'll see that in the rebuild video of how I adjusted those and then tested them by hand to observe the thrust and the smoothness and the meshing of the gears by rotating the armature. The pull-more tires were replaced. They had some pliability, but they were still well coated in just a little bit of lubrication, but a lot of carbon dust, and they had a little bit of hardness, some pliability, but some hardness as well. Lubrication was done thoroughly, not with a low viscosity oil, but with a high viscosity lubricant. And all the contact wheels and slide contacts were completely cleaned and polished. Now, with each run of the train, I will show you a quick segment to show you the the setting on the transformer, and then I'll play the video for you in this video to show you the train's performance at that speed. I fully expect a good creep speed, a good scale speed, a good medium speed, and then I'll run the locomotive by itself. I will run the locomotive pulling 4 box cars, which is AC Gilbert's factory standard for testing this particular diesel locomotive. I'll then have it pull its dummy A unit, and then its dummy A unit, and the 4 box cars for demonstration purposes.